So if you want to fix your trading psychology, you're going to have to fix your mind, right? Now, your mind is going to be represented by this circle here, and it's divided into two parts, right? You've got the conscious part of your mind and the subconscious part of your mind. Now, the conscious part of your mind, this is the logical part of your mind, right? This does all the thinking. This stores all your knowledge about trading, liquidity, ICT, indicators, daily bias. All of that is within the conscious part of your mind, right? And then the second part of your mind is the subconscious mind, right? This is the emotional mind. This stores all your emotion, right? Your FOMO, fear, greed, discipline, all of that is within your subconscious mind, right? So your mind is divided into two parts. Now you might be wondering, why am I telling you this? And it's for this simple reason right here, which changed my life, right? 95% of your actions come from the subconscious mind, right? Comes from the subconscious mind, not the conscious mind. So what that means, and bear with me here because this is so important. 95% of your actions come from the subconscious mind. And if you remember, your subconscious mind is the emotional part of your mind. It doesn't have any of the logic. It doesn't have any of your knowledge of liquidity, of ICT, of indicators. It doesn't have any of that. All it has is emotion, right? So 95% of your actions come from the subconscious mind. So it doesn't matter how much you know about liquidity, daily bias, ICT. If you can't fix your subconscious mind, you're never going to make money. And this is what happened to me. Within 2 years of trading, I had mastered technical analysis. I knew everything about liquidity. I could predict price on almost any asset, and I couldn't make money. I could not make money for 2 years. I understood trading, and for 2 extra years, I didn't make a single penny from trading. In fact, I lost so much money, and it was so just demoralizing and humiliating because I knew so much and I couldn't make money. And I was a laughing stock, bro. I was a laughing stock from all my mates because I was the most wise, knowledgeable, broke guy you'd ever met. And I don't want that for you because it took 2 more years of me having a model that worked but not making money, all because of my subconscious mind, right? And your subconscious mind has all of your emotions, FOMO, fear, and greed. And whatever is the dominant thought in your mind, whatever's the most dominant thing in your mind, comes and gets expressed through your body, right? Now, what that means is, let's say, because 95% of your actions come from the subconscious mind, if your overall, mindset is, I'm afraid to get into trades, or, I'm greedy, I can't, whenever price comes to my take profit, I just have to move my take profit because, I'm not satisfied with enough, or you over leverage. That is the most dominant thought in your mind, right? And what happens there is that gets expressed in your body, and that will control your actions, right? And then that controls your results or P&L. So what that means is, let's say you're afraid, like I was, right? For years, I was afraid to lose. Like, for whatever reason, I could win trades fine, but whenever I lost, I was so scared to get into a trade. Like, I was scared to get into a trade. As soon as I saw any sort of drawdown or, price reversing against me, I'd panic, I'd close my position, I'd move my stop to break even. And what was actually going on is deep within my subconscious mind was this fear. And I don't know, it could come from childhood, past trauma, it doesn't really matter. All we know is that it's there, right? This fear, right, was in deep with my subconscious mind. And if you remember, 95% of your actions come from the subconscious mind. So my body and my actions would always be someone afraid to lose, right? So I was afraid to even get into trade. I'd see my setup and I wouldn't even take it because I was so afraid. And then what that meant was I'd missed so many winning trades, and, my results were I made no money.
Now, broadly in trading, broadly speaking, there are 2 things that will hold you back. The first is fear, and the second is greed. Right, and usually people fall into one of 2 categories. They're either very fearful, they're very hesitant, they don't want to get into trades, they hate losing, and when they go on a losing streak, they start panicking, they get anxiety, they want to change models, and that's exactly what I was like. Right, that's exactly what I was like. I was such a fear-based trader, and I'd be scared to lose, and as soon as I lost, I'd be like, oh, I've done something wrong. I need to change my model. And that held me back for years, really. It held me back for years. I was very fearful. I'd be hesitant to take trades. So let's say I lost a trade, right? And my trade usually was like a fair value gap here. So like I would enter. I mean, this isn't my model, but let's just say this is my model, right? And let's say I'd lost, let's say, 3 trades before. I'd had a 3 losing streak, and this is my model. I would not execute it. I'd be so scared. I'd be here and I'd be so scared, thinking, oh, what if price like goes up and takes me out and then goes back down again? Like, what happens then? Like, that is how I used to be. And that is how fear-based traders are. That's how fear-based traders are. They're very hesitant to get into trades. They hate losing. When they lose, they think they've done something wrong. They want to change things. They want to fix things. They usually, in my experience, they tend to be like perfectionists. Right? They may have excelled at school, university, work, whatever they've done. And when they get to trading, they want to control everything and they want everything to be perfect. And that is what holds people back, in terms of fear, the hesitation and the anxiety that goes with it. And the second one, so if you don't really relate to fear, if you're not really anxious to get into trades, if losing isn't that big of an issue for you, you might fall into the second category, which is greed, right? A lot of traders fall into greed, which is they're greedy, they want to make money, they're not disciplined. They don't follow their trading plan, they over risk, they over leverage. So let me give you an example. I know a lot of people on Twitter, they ask me about this because they've got, FOMO, greed, that sort of stuff. Fear of missing out is an element of being greedy, right? It's an element of being greedy because you can't accept what your model gives you, right? Because if you follow your trading model, you've got your trading plan and you follow it every single trade without hesitation, there is zero thing as FOMO. You should have no FOMO because it's not your trading model, right? Like, I'm a swing trader. I don't care what a scalper does on the 1 minute chart on gold. Like, I don't care. Even if that guy makes like 10K in a day, that means nothing to me because it's not my trading model. I have no FOMO. Whereas people who have greed, they think, even though they've won today, let's say they've won a trade, they think, oh, well, this guy made more money than me. They made more money than me. Let me get into a trade. And, they struggle, they lack discipline. They struggle to follow their plan. And the reality is they're just focused on making money. They're focused on making money too much. And they'll do anything they can to quickly make money. And when you try and quickly make money, you quickly lose money. So like an example of a greed-based trader would be, you see this fair value gap here, right? Make it bigger. Let's say that entry was this fair value gap. And they're on the charts at this point, right? And they see price coming down, and there's no retracement. They see no retracement, right? So prices come down like this. It's come down like this. And they think price is not going to come up and give them a second chance, like it's done it. They don't think that's going to happen because for whatever reason, they're greedy. They think price is going to come all the way down. Because it's going to keep going down. It's going to keep dropping. It's going to keep dropping. It's going to take out, liquidity here. It's going to keep going down. And they don't even think about the possibility of losing because to them, it's all about making money. And what they'll do is, let's say price is here, or it's like around here. Their entry really is supposed to be up here. That's what it says in the entry model. But they're like, oh, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to enter here and I'm going to target all the way down here. And they target all the way down here. Price, slightly goes in their favor, quickly reverses. It stops them out. And then it goes to their entry. And then usually what happens is their entry is actually right. And it goes to take profit. And then they're angry. They start revenge trading. They start changing the model. This is what a lot of greed-based traders have. They have this sort of issue where they can't follow their model. They're chasing price. They don't have discipline. They can't wait for it. Maybe they follow their model for a week and then they give it all back, on one trade, the next week after because they can't follow their model. And, greed at its core, it's a lack of discipline. So for greed, the key thing is you have a lack of discipline in yourself. You can't follow your model. Because you have a lack of discipline. Whereas with fear, the key thing there is a lack of confidence, right? With fear, it's a lack of confidence. With discipline, with greed, it's a lack of discipline. Right? I hope that makes sense. Because that's very, very important. Fear-based traders don't have confidence in themselves. They don't have confidence in their model, and they don't have confidence in the markets in general. Right? And that was for me. I had, a huge problem with just not having confidence in my model. Like, I'd lose 2 trades in a row and I'd be like, oh, what if I lose again? What if I lose the next 5 trades? This is what I would think, right? Because I didn't have confidence in myself, right? And it's very, very important as a trader, you have confidence in yourself because, eventually you're going to be putting real money on the line. And depending on how big your ambitions are, your stop loss could be $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, right? If you want to make 10K in a day, and you've got a free risk to reward ratio, you're going to be risking $3,000. $3,000 is a lot of money, and you need to be at a point where you're confident enough to risk that money and lose that money. Right? If you lose a trade and it's $3,000 stop loss, that shouldn't bother you. Eventually, that will not bother you. So, you've got to be at a point, if you're a fear-based trader, where you're confident in yourself and you're confident in your model. And if you're a greed-based trader, if you're greedy, you like chasing price, you get FOMO, you need to develop discipline. Okay, so now we're getting into the meat of the video. This is absolutely gold dust. And, if you watch this far, because so many people will just click off in the first minute, but if you watch this far, this is so important. This is what's actually going to change your life. We have something called a self-image, right? Your self-image, let's mark this out. Your self-image here is buried deep within your subconscious mind, your childhood, and even, all your life experiences. You would have heard stuff. And this is why most people don't make any money online, is because you would have heard stuff. Money doesn't grow on trees. Money's hard to get. You think I made money, all that sort of stuff. goes into your self-image, and your self-image, in this case, the money, that money's really hard to get, right? When it's not, right? It's actually really easy. It's really easy to get once you know what you're doing. Once you've got this in your mind. But your self-image is so important. Your results are all dictated by how you see yourself subconsciously. Not if me and you were in a room and I was like, hey, what do you think of yourself? Oh, I'm a confident guy. I know how to trade. It's not what you would say to me. It's not what you want other people to, think about you. It's not what you want, right? It's what you deeply believe in your subconscious mind, right? Without even thinking. How do you actually see yourself? Yeah? Because, a lot of you see yourself, and even I was like this. I saw myself, almost a bit of a pussy, right? I was afraid to lose. I was scared, scared to get into trade. I was deep within my subconscious mind. Deep within my subconscious mind also was that money was really hard to make, and it was hard to get, and it was hard to keep. All that sort of stuff held me back for ages, because within my self-image, I had all these negative traits. Now, this video is just about trading, and I wanna literally, and if you watch my videos, I'm all about no BS, practical solutions. Let's fix the problem. But I need to tell you guys what's holding me back, and then I need the solution, because the solution is very easy, very bizarre, but really easy. So here we go. Your self-image, and this was me for ages. I guarantee you're saying things like this. I want to be a profitable trader. Here we go. Do you know how it's want? Not I am. I want to be a profitable trader. I lack discipline. I'm afraid to lose. Yeah, I used to do this all the time, right? When I'm profitable, I will do this. When I'm profitable, I'm gonna live in Dubai. I'm gonna get into property, like all that sort of stuff. This was me as well. One day when we're rich, like how many times have you and your mates done that? One day when we're rich, we're gonna be here. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. Right. When you keep saying this, what you're really saying to your subconscious mind is, I am not that person already. I am not a profitable trader. That's all we care about in this video, because we're talking about trading. All we care about is being a consistently profitable trader who makes money. That's all we care about in this video, right? I might give you a few gold nuggets about money and maybe even women right later on, but this video is purely about trading, right? For the most part. So here we go. All we care about is being a profitable trader. Now, your subconscious mind has no ability to think. It cannot think for itself. Your conscious mind does all the thinking for you. Right? That's where all your knowledge is. It does all the thinking for you. The subconscious mind just accepts whatever goes into it. It accepts, and it turns into result. It manifests into result. Right? Key word there. It manifests into result. That's what manifestation really is. And most people have no idea what they're talking about with manifestation. Here we go. Right? When you say things like, I want to be a profitable trader, I lack discipline, I'm afraid to lose, and when I'm profitable, not I am profitable, when I'm profitable, one day, all you're always telling your subconscious mind is, I am not a profitable trader. I'm not a profitable trader at all. And your subconscious mind cannot think. So it thinks, oh, well, Atif, right? Me, oh, he doesn't want to be a profitable trader. So what he wants is he wants me to be, he wants me to keep him as an unprofitable trader, right? For some reason, he likes studying, right? Yeah, that's what, whenever my mates would ask me, and you probably have this too, oh, what are you trying to, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, I want to be a profitable trader. I want to be a trader. I want to be a trader. Your subconscious mind is going to keep you as a guy who wants to be a trader, right? This is so, if you can really understand this, you can easily change it. Your subconscious mind is going to keep you as someone who wants to be a trader, right? Oh, this is his identity. Because that was my whole life for years, that I'm a guy trying to learn how to trade. Well, if you're a guy who's trying to learn how to trade, you're going to be forever a guy trying to learn how to trade. Because your self-image and your subconscious mind is going to see that. It's going to see that you get really emotionally involved, right? That you're really passionate about it. That, oh, this guy, for whatever reason, he really wants to be a guy who learns how to trade. He wants to be a guy who wants to be a profitable trader. He doesn't actually want to be a profitable trader. Your subconscious mind is going to think, oh, he enjoys watching YouTube videos. He enjoys reading books. He enjoys, learning about liquidity and all that. It might be interesting, but at the end of the day, we want the result. We want the P&L. We don't want blown account, right? But the only way we can do that is to not identify with any of this crap here. Like, I get so many people saying to me, I'm afraid to lose. Now, when you say I'm afraid to lose, your subconscious mind thinks, oh, I want to lose. Right? I want to lose. Let me keep making this guy lose, right? Let me keep making this guy lose. Here we go. I lack discipline. Let me this up. I've got 18,000 followers. I get hundreds of DMs from traders every single day. And I get to this sort of stuff all the time, right? Where I say, I'm afraid to lose. I lack discipline. How many people say this? Oh, I'm good at trading. I just lack discipline. But when you say that, it goes straight into the subconscious mind. Straight into the subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind will dictate 95% of your results. So when you have that in your subconscious mind, that you lack discipline and that you're afraid to lose, that one day you'll become a profitable trader. And when you keep saying stuff like that, when you say one day I'll become a profitable trader, well, that one day is never going to come. Because your subconscious mind is going to keep you as a guy who's waiting for that day to come, right? It's very stupid, your subconscious mind. It has no ability to think for itself. And I'm telling you, every single successful person that you know, anyone, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, anyone, they all are using the law of attraction. They're using the law of attraction because it's rooted in science. It's absolutely key because what's actually happening, and I guarantee this is what's holding you back, right? It's let me just mark this out so it's clear. Your self-image, and this is such a key word. This is absolutely key. Your self-image will determine your results, right? And your self-image, let me just write this down, it's determined within your subconscious brain. Your self-image is in your subconscious brain. Do you remember how I said right at the beginning of the video, and it might have sounded weird, if someone asked me if I wanted to be a profitable trader, I would have said yeah, because logically, if I asked you, do you want to be a profitable trader? You'd be like, yeah, of course. Like, of course, I want to make money. Subconsciously, though, that's not the case. Your self-image is this. Your self-image is this. You see yourself as someone who wants to be a profitable trader, someone who's trying to learn how to trade. Right? Your subconscious brain, remember how it has no logic to it? It cannot understand. It thinks that you want to be someone who enjoys learning how to trade, right? You have to convince your subconscious brain that this is your self-image, right? Even if it's not a reality yet, right? Because remember, the results come after it's in your subconscious brain. If you want to be rich, you need to convince your subconscious brain that you are rich first. Then the money will come. You can't keep saying, oh, I'm a guy who's trying to be rich. I want to make money. You have to say, I am a guy who has money. And then by law, the law of attraction, it must come. The exact same way, if you want to be a profitable trader, you can't keep saying, oh, I want to learn how to trade. One day I'm going to be profitable. One day I'm going to be a millionaire. One day I'm going to be funded with FTMO. You have to say, I am a profitable trader. I am a profitable trader. And you have to say that so it's inside your subconscious brain. And then once it's in your subconscious brain, by the law of attraction, it must manifest. It must come true. And if you're wondering why this actually works, your subconscious brain, as it does 95% of your actions, it will force you to have the good habits of a profitable trader. Because you already know what they are. Following your model, A+ setup, risk management, all that sort of stuff. You know consciously, right? If I told you consciously, you know the habits of a profitable trader. Right? It's no magic. You know it. You know what it is. But emotionally, on the subconscious part, you can't do it. All your FOMO, let's just mark this out. All your FOMO, all your greed, all that sort of fear as well, all that sort of stuff is in the subconscious brain, right? And greed too. All of that is in the subconscious brain. Because if I said to you, hey, do you enjoy having FOMO? You're going to be like, no. Do you enjoy being a greedy trader? No. Do you enjoy being a fear-based trader? No. Right? It's all rooted within your subconscious brain. And remember, 95% of your results and your actions are within the subconscious brain. Right? It's within your subconscious brain. It's all within there. And when people say, when they have a paradigm shift, when they say everything clicked for me, they're not talking about technicals. They didn't discover a holy grail. They discovered themselves. Right? I'm telling you, the moment I started saying, I am a profitable trader, within a month, I was on a winning streak. Now, I didn't know whether I was going to go on a winning streak and then start losing again. Within 2 months of me starting to write this, I could easily say that I was a profitable trader. And my only goal was looking for capital at that point. I was just looking for money to manage. And, I turned to this, right? Probably my lowest moment in my life. I was absolutely broke. I spent 1.5 years. I'd put my heart and soul into learning how to trade. I understood it on a conscious level. I knew all the technicals, all the analysis, all that sort of stuff. But on the subconscious level, I just couldn't do it. And the results weren't showing. Right? All my results were negative. The reason why they were negative is because inside my subconscious brain, it kept seeing me as a guy who wanted to learn how to trade. If you asked me, hey, what do you do? Oh, I want to be a trader. I'm trying to learn how to trade. I never said I am a profitable trader. Right? And because I never said that, my subconscious brain, because it's determined by emotions here, there's so much emotion behind this, it just thinks that you want to be a guy who's learning how to trade. And we have to convince your subconscious brain that you are a profitable trader already, and then the results will show. So I'm going to show you how you can actually do that, how you can actually convince your subconscious brain that you are a profitable trader. I'm going to give you a solution, right? And this is the key solution. It's journaling. And I know people don't like to journal for whatever reason, but what a journal really is let's say we have the example, right? The trader who was supposed to enter at this fair value gap. And for whatever reason, he sold price down here, chasing price because he couldn't wait for a retracement up. You would get your snipping tool up. Don't know if you guys can see this. Let's just type it in here, right? You'd get your snipping tool up. I'm not going to actually do it. You'd get whatever screenshot software you want. You'd take a screenshot of this, you'd put it on a Google Docs, and you just type, here is a trade, which I did not wait for, right? I chased price, and, price quickly reversed. It took me out, and I should have waited here. And you write that down in a journal, and you write down how you were feeling and why you did that. right? So you might write down like, oh, I got into the trade because I thought it wasn't going to come up. I thought it wasn't going to come up. And then what you'll see is, let's say you journal for a few weeks, you'll read it back and you're like, oh, it's just a lack of confidence. It's just a lack of, almost experience, right? Because if you think about this, if you see this enough times, you'll be like, oh, if I just wait for a retracement, then I'll be fine. So what you'll see is, in this instance, chasing price is just a lack of almost experience with your model. And the cure for that is backtesting. Backtesting is so important, because if you backtested this 100 times, you're going to realize, oh, well, every time I wait for a retracement, I'm profitable over the long run. Where every time I chase price, I lose right away. Right? So that's where a journal comes in. And if you're a fear-based trader, and again, we're going to use the analogy that this is your entry, and usually what your model says is that your stop loss should be, let's say here, like that, and your take profit should be down here, right? Whatever, 6 to 1, whatever. Entry doesn't matter, but for whatever reason, you've lost 2 trades and you're afraid to get in. You're afraid to get into this trade because you think, for whatever reason, it's going to go up like that. And we're in live price action now, so I don't know what's actually going to happen. But let's just suppose it does this. Let's suppose it goes straight down to your take profit. You're going to journal this, and you're going to be like, due to the previous trades I had, I was nervous, I was fearful, I didn't have confidence in myself, and I was too scared to get into the trade, and now the trade's quickly gone off without me, and it's hit my take profit. Right? That's what you will journal, and then you'll realize over time, over reading your journal, that, oh, it's just a lack of experience, really. It's a lack of experience in my model, because if you've seen this, again, we're going to go back to backtesting. If you backtest this 100 times, do you know, more often than not, when price retraces to a fair value gap, and you're bearish, you tend to make money, you're going to execute it. So the solution almost always tends to be more backtesting, get more and more confidence. And you don't just backtest once, right? The first initial backtesting is to get your data. So like when I first backtested my model, it was a 50% win rate, 3 risk to reward ratio. That's like the actual data that you have an edge. And then afterwards, you keep backtesting to get the experience, because the more and more you can train your eyes, the less likely you are to do emotional things like fear and greed. And yeah, backtesting and journaling are so key. I know people hate journaling, I know they hate backtesting, it is tedious, but I'm telling you, please, if you just take a screenshot of this and you just write like a sentence or two, that will help you out so much. Because I realized, like, I had no idea about any of this, but I read my journal, people told me to journal, so I journaled and I read it back, and I was like, man, every time I lose, I go into a tailspin. Like, I'm so afraid of losing. And what that is, really, at its core, is a perfectionist, right? A perfectionist tries, because, I'll be honest, everything I've done in life, and not to sound arrogant, like, I tend to succeed at it. I tend to be like almost the best. So for me, being a trader and losing 50% of the time, but still making money, that for me is very hard. Because for me, my brain sees success as winning, right? High win rate, 80, 90%, 95%, let's say. Because if it's an exam, usually I'm getting, high 80s, low 90s. So for me, 50% win rate, that doesn't really, go well in my brain, because it's like, I'm going to lose quite a lot. I don't like losing. So for me, fear was such a huge issue, because I was a perfectionist, and I had to let go of that. I had to let go of that perfectionist. I had to accept, humble myself, really, that, what, I'm going to lose a lot. And the real loser in trading, it's not price going against you, right? So let's remove this. The real loser in trading, and this is so important, because if you can get this, you can truly be profitable. The real loser in trading isn't, let's say this is your model, it isn't this. That's not a real loser. The real loser is 2 things. It's either you not getting in the trade because you're so afraid that price is going to go against you, or price literally going down like this, and you're too impatient, undisciplined to wait for retracement. So you're just going to enter as soon as possible. You're just going to enter here randomly, buy it, just randomly sell and target all the way down there, and then price goes against you. That right there, those 2 scenarios, is a real loser in trading. That's a real loser in trading, right? But price, you following your model and, price action doing that, that's not a loser. That's not a real loser, because that's exactly what you expect. Because if you truly understand what a win rate is, because let's go off the analogy, you've got a 50% win rate and a 3 risk to reward ratio like I have, right? That right there is enough to make you a millionaire. That's enough to make you a millionaire, 10k a month, 100k a month, a million a month, or whatever you want. But let's just go off that analogy. You've got a 50% win rate. What that really means, what it truly means, is you have a 50% loss rate. Right? No one talks about this. Everyone talks about win rate, but what's your loss rate? you're going to lose 50% of the time. Right? You're going to lose 50% of the time. 50% of your trades are going to hit your stop loss, not your take profit. And you've got to accept that. You've got to actually accept that. If you don't accept that, you're never going to be profitable. You're never going to be profitable because, even for me, like I backtest it and have a 50% win rate, 60% win rate. And then, as soon as I lose like a trade or two, I'm like, oh, I need to change something. Why? Why do you need to change something? Right? You got to trust your backtesting. You got to trust your edge. You got to trust your data because you don't have data on your emotions. You don't have data on your emotions, but you have data on your trading.
Now, if you've watched my channel for a long time, you'll know I'm big into solutions. How do we actually fix this? Right? What is the solution? Now, I'm going to save you 4 years of pain, and there's one simple solution that you can do. And it's an affirmation. Now, an affirmation is something that you say and that you write down repeatedly over time. Now, it might sound absolutely insane, this, but like I said, check out the comments. People are doing this, and it actually works. This is what made me a profitable trader within 3 weeks. And what you're going to do is you're going to write this down. You're going to write this down. I am so happy and grateful now that I am a profitable trader. Let me spell this right. Now that I am a profitable trader. And you're going to do that, and you're going to do that repeatedly over and over and over again, right? And this isn't some woo-woo BS that I've made up. This is exactly what I do on a day-to-day basis. In fact, what my notepad right here, I don't know if you can see that, right here, full A4 notepad of just writing the same thing over and over and over again. Now you might be asking, why do we do that? Why do we say the exact same thing and write the exact same thing over and over and over again? Now, the reason we do that is because the way you communicate to your subconscious mind is either two things. It's repetition and emotion, right? Repetition and emotion. Now, I'm not going to get, because I want this video to be short, because I know so many of you need help with trading psychology, but for whatever reason, you hate watching long videos on psychology. So I'm going to keep this really short. All you need to know is that in order to get something into your subconscious mind, which determines 95% of your actions, is we need repetition and emotion. So if you say this over and over and over and over again, over time, it gets into your subconscious mind. And once it's in your subconscious mind that you are a profitable trader, which is our desired result, the FOMO goes, the fear goes, the greed goes, because you can't have two ideas, thoughts in your subconscious mind that contradict each other, right? So if you're a profitable trader and you're afraid to lose, those two things don't make sense, right? They don't make sense. Now, eventually, the stronger one is always in control, right? So right now, or at least for me when I was unprofitable, me being afraid to lose was way stronger than me being a profitable trader. But I kept saying this over and over and over again. What happens is this idea of me becoming a profitable trader gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And this, idea of me being a losing trader gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Eventually, you being a profitable trader comes ahead of being a losing trader. And then you being an unprofitable trader just goes. It literally just eliminates overnight. And that's when people say, oh, I was trading for 3 years and it clicked within 3 weeks. This is exactly what they're talking about, whether they understand it or not. This is exactly what they're talking about, because in your subconscious mind, you can't believe that you are unprofitable and keep saying this over and over again, right? Eventually, something's going to give. And before you know it, your actions are a profitable trader. And if you act like a profitable trader, you think like one, you feel like one, you will become one, and it will show in your P&L. That is how you fix your trading psychology. Use this affirmation. It's changed my life. It's changed thousands of people's lives. Now, like I said, I don't want to make this video too long. If you want like a more in-depth, course about how to trade, how to fix your psychology, this sort of video, mindset, all that sort of stuff in way more depth, go check out this full free 2-hour trading course where I talk everything you need to know to become a profitable trader. And to be honest, if you write this out every single day on an A4 notepad, like I'm doing now, and you watch that 2-hour trading course, within, I don't want to guarantee anything, right? Don't start suing me. Some of you trying to sue me. Within a month, I guarantee you, or at least as much as anyone can guarantee you, you will almost certainly be a profitable trader. Right? I'm not BSing you. Try it out. Try it for a month and go check out that video. It will honestly change your life.